I'm Heather from booktubes, and today is One and Done authors. So in this series I have done authors I won't promote because of problematic behavior and content, authors that I have no interest in trying, authors that I have DNF'd the one and only book that I picked up from them, and now we have One and Done authors. So these are authors that I did read one book from them, whether I enjoyed it or not. I will let you know my rating of the book, and then have not picked anything else up. And they are popular enough and controversial enough, not just in general, but I feel like for my viewers, I feel like some of these are going to surprise you that I have only read one book from them and have not been tempted to pick up anymore. So we'll see. I will say that from this video and from my controversial DNFs video, I will do a vlog giving a couple of those authors a second chance. It will be one joint vlog with both tries combined, but I'm going to try a few, so there's a couple I will give another chance. Let me know if you want a specific one. And that's it. So the very first one is The Love Hypothesis by Ailey Hazelwood. So I gave this book 5 stars. I loved it. The thing about Ailey Hazelwood is, or Allie Hazelwood, however you say her name, you know, she writes Raylo fanfic, or she did, and a lot of that Raylo fanfic got published. That was her first several books, so they're very similar, which I don't really have an issue with, because again, if I like something, I don't mind having that flavor again and again and again. But I just, like, I did really enjoy the one that I picked up, but I also felt like I did not need more, and I do understand why she is the favorite of so many people, but for me, I felt like I probably would not enjoy more as much as I enjoyed that one, so why ruin it? The next one is Rebecca Weatherspoon. I read Haven, which is Beards and Bondage #1 by her. I give this 4 stars. This was a interracial BDSM grief trauma healing romance, and I liked it. I think I read it actually a couple years ago for a vlog in February, I want to say, trying like really popular Black authors that I thought that I would like that I had not tried yet. And I have not picked any up. I hear such good things about Zenny and about Rafe and about, this one's Haven Harbor, whatever, the third book in the series. And I really like this author on social media. I follow her. I really enjoy her stuff. But I just have not even kind of picked one up. The next one is The Kiss Quotient by Helen Wong. I gave this 4 stars. This book made me cry in the middle of it. And I was just like emotionally compromised by this book. I just really felt for our main characters. There was just so much that people just weren't treating them how they deserve to be treated. And I know that the other books are heavier, and I was like, I don't need this. I don't need to be emotionally devastated by this, and I don't love it enough to do that to myself. Like, it was a good book, but not something that I'm willing to suffer for again. So that's it for me. Then I have FORTUNA SWAN by KJ7. This is a very popular indie fantasy romance series. I gave this 4 stars. It was ACOTAR. It was ACOTAR. I'm sorry, but there was a lot of similarities there. Now we do have a nightmare, that is the paranormal that we're following, and there's a love triangle that was not even kind of resolved. I think it takes several books to be resolved, and there was no steam in the first book. There was no real, and there's like a forced marriage of convenience to the king of the Fae and all sorts of things. But I actually immediately bought the second ebook and have never opened it. And I just, like, I don't want to take 6 books to get to my couple being on good footing. You know, if I'm going to have a series that follows one couple for several books, they need to be a couple at least like halfway through that. We need to have made progress in that relationship. I am not interested in 6 books for you to finally get together. Then I have Lillian Lark. I read 3 of Hearts by Lillian Lark. I gave this 4 stars. It was really good. I've also heard that it was not the best, that she's really grown as an author. I am always interested in her releases and I never read them. I have had, because I pre-ordered the In the Woods anthology and then I got the full-length remastered version of Ensnared by the Werewolf. I've had that book on my Kindle since March of last year when the anthology came out, and I keep trying to make myself read it and I haven't. I have been tempted by the Gargoyles. Nope. I thought about reading the second book from this series. Nope. The Merman one. The Merman? Whatever it is. The new snake one. Like, I'm just like, the amount I know about this woman's books, with only ever having read one that's like one of her least popular books, is odd. Now, some of it's because my friends really like her. But like, it feels like I've read a bunch of her books and I have not. It was like 2020, late 2021 when I read this. So then I have Anna Wong, which is the Twisted series author. I read Twisted Love. I gave it 4 stars. The third act breakup in this makes me angry to this day because they break up for a year. And you know what? That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. You cannot break up for a year. Have this man beg you and grovel for you for a year. Have him make contact with you for a year. Then you're just like, huh. That's like, I haven't let you touch me in a year? That's so weird. Time really flies when you're having fun. Let's get back together. I just hated it so much. And I have been tempted to read more books by her, but it has not happened. And I know that there's going to be a third act breakup and there's going to be groveling in every single book, and that's fine, you know. But I don't know. I really did like it. I really enjoyed her writing. I haven't cracked the spine of another one, metaphorically, because I read ebooks, but I mean, I haven't. So I don't know. Then I have I Married a Lizard Man by Regine Abel. 4 stars. Who's surprised? This one really bothered me. I liked the book. But then like the weird colonizing stuff with like the indigenous lizard people tribe bothered me. Like, I just could not get over it. And not even if you take the colonization out of it, everything in this book was solved by the main character, and it's like everyone else was just useless. And I didn't like that. Like, that's not a dynamic I like in my books. I do, again, think that this is one of her weaker books, so maybe I should give her another try, but I just was so annoyed by that, even though I liked the rest of the book. Like, I liked everything else. Ugh, don't look at me. Beverly Jenkins. I read Tempest by Beverly Jenkins and I gave this 4 stars. I will say, I am not big on reading historical American books. I read a lot of that type of genre. Obviously not romance, but just a lot of both like Revolutionary War and Native American, usually not by Native American authors, and then like Pioneer and Settler, and I read a lot of those books growing up, and I just don't have a lot of interest in it, in reading it now. I truly do not. And that's kind of that. Now, Beverly Jenkins does not just write historical, she also writes contemporary. And I did put one on my TBR, but I never got to it. And I don't know. You cannot give this woman more credit than she deserves. Like, she deserves all of the flowers and all of the fame and all of the riches, and she does not have. She's not nearly as famous or as well paid or any of the things as she should be. Like, truly, you cannot be good enough to her. Like, you know, she deserves nothing but wonderful things for the rest of her life. And I have only read one book and probably will only read one book. I feel like you don't have to read authors to prove anything, and you don't have to read authors because they're wonderful people. You don't have to read books that you don't want to. No matter how good the reasons. So I don't feel confident on that though. I won't lie to you. I just but yeah, I haven't read much, and I don't know that I will read more. I don't feel that pull to pick it up. Okay, then I have a 3-star read, and this is The Silver Swan by Amo Jones. Very popular dark indie author. My friend Naima loves this author, and I read this book because of her, and I was not impressed. I do think that this book is like, again, one of her earlier books, and maybe, you know, not the one that you should judge her entire necklace on, but I feel like the plots of a lot of her books sound too dark and toxic for me. Like, I would be very stressed. So it's not gonna happen. And I have By a Thread by Lucy Score. This was a 5-star read. I loved this book. It was so long. It was contemporary, boss, maybe Marriage of Convenience. The main thing I remember about this book is her dad has dementia, and she is being swallowed alive by debt, trying to pay for his in-care facility and stuff. So it deals with some heavy topics. Dementia is a huge trigger for me personally, and is not something I would have read if I had known was in the book. I've got a lot of history there, and I don't want to do it. But despite like several things, and the other thing being the main character would not accept help. She was literally the type that would not accept a sandwich from a billionaire. She would not accept a cab ride from like her billionaire boss. And it's like, you can't live like this, and it means nothing to him. Why would your dad, you know, who is not in his right mind, and you can't ask him his opinion anymore, why would your dad want you to like kill yourself, run yourself into the ground, trying to do everything on your own when you can't? Like, I'm sorry, but medical debt in the US, are you kidding me? And you have like this helping hand stretched out to you, and you're drowning in the water in the debt, and you're just like slapping the hand away, like, no, I have to do this myself. Like, I just wanted to shake her. But I loved the book. I loved the book, despite those being my main takeaways. But I have yeah. Her books are really long. She has a very popular one on TikTok right now. And it like is not gonna happen. I'm not gonna pick it up. Then this one hurts my heart too. This one and Beverly Jenkins, I feel like, are the ones that I'm just like, oh. So, Not My Type, All Access #1 by Evie Mitchell. I gave this 3 stars. I was very disappointed in this book. I did not enjoy the humor. I did not enjoy the steam. I did not enjoy any of the things. It had really good representation for a wheelchair user, and Evie Mitchell as a person, adore her. She's so funny in person. And also the way that she does her books and her ethics and her morals, and the way that she feels that if you're going to write representation, then you need to pour that back into the community that you're representing, and just her work that she's doing by being an author. And just, I love her. I love her, and I did not really enjoy this book. I thought about trying one of her like motorcycle or dystopian books and just haven't, but after, you know, seeing her on lives, and she's just so funny and sweet and amazing. I have a personalized signed copy of this book that I won, and then I just didn't really like it all that much. So that was sad. Okay, now we're getting into the ones I hate. I hate, and you could not talk me into trying them again, no matter what you said. QB Tyler. I read Love Unexpected for Taboo Book Club a couple years ago. 2 stars. The only reason I did not DNF this book was because I was co-hosting the book club and needed to read it for the discussion, right? I hated everything about this book. She is so well known for her steamy scenes, and I was so not into it. I thought that it was the weirdest. I honestly thought that it was like a fantasy written for an older man. Like, it was for him, and I didn't know why I was reading it. It was so weird to me. And part of it was because there were so many things that I felt that she could have changed about this book to make me like it so much more. Okay, so we have a stepfather and a stepdaughter, and she's in high school, and her mom is killed. And the thing about it is, they were a happy family. She was a good mom. She was a good wife. They loved her. Like, they were a very happy family. And then 3 months later, they're sleeping with each other. She's like a younger clone of his dead wife. She's a virgin. She's barely 18. She still lives in the house with them. It's 3 months since the loss of their spouse and mother. Like, I don't know. I mean, grief is a weird thing, but that's too soon. And also, like, okay, number one, could not be a happy family, right? She didn't have to be a good wife and mother. Number two, she could have gone to college, come home. Suddenly they're doing things. Like, there were so many also, like, and also he was her stepfather from like the age of 10 or 11. Like, he could have been her stepfather for a month, right? Like, there were just so many things that you could have changed, and you didn't change any of those, and it icked me out, and I hated it, and I hated the steamy scenes, I hated everything about their relationship. I hated their entire dynamic. I hated all of it, and I will never read this author, ever. And part of it is because I have discovered I am not a taboo book girl. I do like dark romance. I like lots of things, but taboo just is not it for me. It rarely works. I do have some that work, but rarely works for me. I think just as a subgenre as a whole, it's not my thing. Then I have Promises and Pomegranates by Savar Miller. 2 stars. Again, a very popular TikTok book. I read this because of the cover. Is a dark mafia romance, and there's like kind of stolen from the wedding. Even that could not save it. This was just, first of all, he used to sleep with her mother, so that's weird. And of course he doesn't tell her, even though he knows her mother is incredibly vindictive. And of course the mother tells her, and yada yada. And then like her family sends some really weird things after her, and there's like he like forces her into marriage with him, and the family pretends like he kidnapped her, and there's just all sorts of weirdness, and all of that dark stuff did not work for me. It was not executed to my taste, and I do not understand why it's popular. I don't know why anyone likes this book, even though my friend Izzy does really love this book. I just think it's trash. I think it is trash, and I will stand firm in that conviction because there is no redeeming qualities about this book. It is the worst. All right, now we're going to talk about 2 of my most hated books of all time. Born to be Bound by Addison Cain. 1 star. You can actually watch a huge video from Lindsay Sterling about Addison Cain and the Omegaverse entire thing. I read this after that. I didn't know anything about it. But Addison Cain basically claimed that she invented the Omegaverse and that all the other Omegaverse authors had to pay her, which was not true. This was the most abusive Omegaverse. This is like 1 of 2 that I read that were so dark and awful. And this one, he like, he takes her and all the things, and he's forcing her all the things, and then like a female alpha comes in and he puts her in the bathroom and like asks the female alpha on their bed, like on her nest and stuff, and you kind of get the idea that he's doing it to protect her, but it's also like, aren't you the biggest baddest alpha? Like, why can you not protect her? I hated it. Like, at that point, I was like, I am done. I am done. I am done. And then that book did not end in an HEA. It ends with her escaping, and it's the first in a 3-book trilogy. And again, they aren't happy until like book 3. And I was like, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this again. I'm not doing this. This was so awful. I kept thinking, okay, we're through the dark part. No, we weren't. No, we weren't. No, we were not. He continued to get more awful as time went on, and I was just like, this is off. This is the worst thing. This is no. So, I hate that with the fire passion of 1,000 burning suns. Quite like, hate it. My most hated book of all time is Coined by K. Webster. 1 star, first of all, 1 star. So Kate Webster was not in my problematic authors I won't promote over her entire hooligan racist stuff. Hoodlum? Hooligan, one of those. Hood rat. And like, you can say that you didn't know, that's totally fine, but if you don't know that much, should you be writing a black character? Probably not. That's my take. If you don't know, that's fine. You don't know what you don't know. But if you don't know that much, then you're not the person to be writing it. It's as simple as that. This is the most god-awful book. The entire plot is rape. Rape here, rape there, rape everywhere. It is awful and the worst daddy kink I've ever read. If you think that daddy kink is projecting your dead daughter onto the girl who is the same age as your daughter was when she was killed, and who looks like your daughter, and who you're incredibly attracted to, and then you sleep with her and do a lot of non-consensual things. Okay, so his wife and daughter are raped and killed in front of him, and then he turns into this, you know, dark, broody biker guy. And then this girl, he rescues her from like another club that's not treating her well. She is a teen runaway from a really rich guy, and he doesn't ask her why. He drugs her and takes her back to her dad's house. And her dad was raping her, and is, you know, doesn't talk to her, drugs her, takes her back, leaves her in her own personal hell. The man who raped and killed his wife and daughter, he catches him on security cameras going into her bedroom. Instead of being like, this is a serial rapist that I know with my own 2 eyes is a serial rapist, he's like, she was in on it the entire time. She was colluding with my enemy. Just, when I tell you, I could have choked the life out of this man and all of the other bikers in his club. They did not deserve to be, they should not have been together. This should not have been a romance. They should have rotted. Their carcasses should have rotted at the end of this book, and I would have cheered. But no, instead they live happily ever after. So he like captures her, takes her from her personal hell where her father is raping her and is letting this other man rape her, and takes her and tortures her and rapes her, and she's like, I know I can trigger him into like seeing his daughter, so she does that, and then he's like, no, we have to protect her, and he's like saying his dead daughter's name and then sleeps with her. Literally the worst thing I've ever read. And you know what's truly the true crime here is that the book was decently written. I was going through pages, and again, it was one where I was like, we are done. Like, that was rough, but we are done with the dark stuff, right? And then it just got worse and worse, and then at the end, I was truly hate reading this. I was like, I was reading it for a vlog, and I was like, I have to know what other horror awaits me in these pages. And just the worst thing I've ever read. My most hated book of all time. Like, listen, if you say you like Kate Webster, I understand that not all of her books are like this. I think that she's also one who wrote, you know, the fake incest book. I just side-eye. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's not that I think you don't deserve rights. It's not that, like, you're not allowed in the bookish community. But side-eye, I don't know. I don't relate to you. Okay, that was that's the end of that. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know which ones, not the ones I hated more than anything else in the world, I should try again for a vlog. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.